primitive technology videos fake? That's what we're gonna get to the bottom of today. And by we, I mean Sunny V2 and me and 1,000 of my closest, I don't know, people that give me money. This conspiracy goes deep. Strap in. Oh my God, how primitive building videos are staged. I definitely wanna watch that. Should we watch that? How primitive building videos are staged? I feel like that's sweet. They're not real? What? No! Let's watch it. Who cares? Let's just go ahead and fucking watch it, Thank you, Sunny V2, for making this amazing video.
Almost every single primitive building channel is underpinned by countless different lies, and we've got tons of evidence to prove it. Now, we need to put an emphasis on the fact that this is most primitive building channels, and certainly not all of them.
I've seen some of them where I've watched for hours, and I cannot even begin to fathom the amount of work that goes into it. If it's like hot out, I can't go outside. I just don't go outside if it's hot. If it's humid, I definitely don't go outside. If it's hot and humid, there's no chance.
Post upon forum post about the ways in which these primitive builders lie in order to generate sometimes up to 500 million views per video.
What the f? Mr. Tfue? The Fortnite guy? What?
500 million views per video.
What in the
Users
hell?
continue to mention one name over and over, crediting him as legitimate amongst the sea of phonies. Primitive technology. The 10.4 million subscriber channel, which is run by an Australian named John Plant, basically invented the primitive construction genre, all the way down to the sound design of silence mixed with rainforest noises, with primitive technology even stating in a Reddit AMA that originally it was out of laziness in not putting narration in the videos, but then the silent format became popular, so I kept it that way.
I'm gonna be honest, John Plant, his things are not nearly as good as the other ones though. To be fair to all the other people who are in fact faking it, he's building like shit you could actually build. They're building like resorts and stuff like that, so, yeah.
When going back to the beginning of these silent, relaxing videos,
I could build this, you know.
Seeming pretty legit in terms of authenticity. Primitive technology cuts no corners in showing how each stage of the construction is completed legitimately. For example, when examining—
Look at this guy. He's doing this in Australia?
Specific captions explaining what's going on in that very moment.
He's building a fucking A-frame. It's like that the Amish thing, how they literally build a house and then they just carry it like a bunch of ants. They lift it up and they fucking carry it like a bunch of bugs. Have you seen that? Do you want me to do primitive building? I'll do a primitive building video. If this gets 100,000 likes, I'll do it. There's no way this will ever get that many likes, but I will. I have 80 acres. I own 80 acres and I will build a brothel on it. It's right near a cult too. So maybe I can like maybe we can work out a deal. Me and the cult can kind of work out a deal.
Build all the way down to how long the construction process took. His builds never include swimming pools or anything over the top, yet feel impressive as they seem to be on the cutting edge of what is and isn't possible to build.
That's still awesome.
The legitimacy of some of his more impressive builds, such as this brick hut, can be supported by YouTube comments such as this one, which stated, "I actually know John personally. He was a really good friend. We live in the same town, although I haven't seen him since he went viral.
Yeah, he's too big for you now, bud.
I have fond memories of him telling us that he was building huts out bush and had no idea they were so legit, before going on to credit him as a pretty authentic guy from a personal relationship standpoint."
That is genuinely so impressive. And seeing this title kills me because I thought they were all fake. Like, I thought this was about to annihilate everything that I've held dear for years, because these videos, I mean, I've watched hundreds of them, literally hundreds of them, of people just building little water parks and shit. To be fair, I've never seen this, guys. Most of the ones that I've seen are the ones that are sped up and it's like, look at it, holy f. You know, most of the ones I've seen have been like the really sped up ones. I don't think this is one that I've really seen much of. But this guy's look, you know, not as good, so. I think, yeah, makes sense that these aren't staged. That's still very impressive though. I've tried building a couple tree houses. I tried lighting a fire in one when I was a kid. Not that good of an idea.
As Primitive Technology's videos set a baseline for what should and shouldn't be achievable in a natural setting. Additionally, Primitive Technology has been kind enough to provide us with a statement, which will be referred to as we look at the channels on the other end of the spectrum.
So we got like an inside scoop.
The fundamental problem with the genre is that with so much time between camera cuts, there's plenty of time to set things up illegitimately. And with Primitive Technology's very first video receiving over 44,000 Reddit upvotes and 30 million views.
See, what the fuck is this? This is so stupid. No, that's fake, dude. Look at that. Look at that. That doesn't even look like, I mean, it's so, yeah, the water's blue as hell. I've never even seen blue water. I mean, I'm drinking water right now. And it's red.
Began to pop up left, right, and center.
Okay,
on these
cool.
channels, the buildings were taller, the slides were longer, and the water was suspiciously more blue.
And it's a weird blue color. Why is it so blue?
Yeah, why is it so blue? Is that Gatorade?
There's no reason for it to look so blue like that.
Even more interestingly, almost all of these channels
clear.
range from the exact same area, being Cambodia, Thailand, or Vietnam.
It's a Southeast Asian scam. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. I'm kidding, I don't know. I figured there might be something about that. You're like, I say, oh my god, and everyone's like, fuck, you know? Like we all kind of have a big moment together, but I'm not really that good at reacting to stuff. So
Claim to be living in the United States and have their social blade country set to the United States.
Right, that's fair.
The overall production and build quality on these
Asian
channels is arguably far more impressive than the OG primitive technology, to the point where you have to ask yourself, are they really creating these structures out of mud and sticks?
No.
Well, when you do a little bit of research, the answer to this question is most certainly no.
That looked delicious, by the way. That looks like food. Sorry, that looks like chocolate. That looks like chocolate, some kind of weird red Southeast Asian chocolate on top of what I can only imagine is a delicious vanilla ice cream. Wow, I'm hungry. And I'm lactose intolerant.
The answer to this question is most certainly no. The best evidence for this is found when looking at a 5 million subscriber channel called Primitive Technology Idea, whose failure to cover up the ways in which they fake their videos make them almost comical to watch. Take for example this episode titled Building Underground Water Maze, Crocodile to the Secret Underground House and Swimming Pool.
Well, that looks like a fake thumbnail anyways. That looks so dumb, for one. That looks so stupid. I mean, everything about this looks just f***ing dumb. Building underground water maze crocodile to the secret underground house and swimming. Mr. and Mrs., thank you. Word vomit.
Building underground water maze, crocodile to the secret underground house and swimming pool, in which the first shot
Title
shows
really
two
rolls
men
off the
digging
tongue.
on the surface, then in the next frame they're in an 8-foot deep trench.
Yeah, they build, it's like they're building Minecraft stuff.
And potential tree roots from, you know, the massive line of trees seen just behind them.
That's a good point.
Are they being assisted by large machinery?
It's kind of like a horror vibe.
If that's what they were attempting to portray, it probably would have been best not to include the clip where a guy in a white t-shirt can be seen working on the project in the background.
They've got a guy in a white t-shirt fucking working on the background! Cause you know for sure, like for sure, if they're, I mean, this is probably maybe offensive in some way, but if this truly is like Cambodia, Thailand, and they're getting 500 million views and Mr. Tfu's balling out there with 500 million view videos, that's the currency conversion, probably pretty good. 500 million views, that's good for me. I'd take that. 500 million views estimated would be, I don't know, over $1 million.
Yet if it were just these three guys, that still wouldn't be that bad. However, further evidence suggests that they are far more help than this. At the start of the week, a community post was made on this channel in the hope that someone who worked with one of these primitive builders would be willing to share their experience in doing so. We received countless emails which were all super helpful, yet one email stood out as being incredibly unique. That email was incredibly from one of the cameramen who—
Hi, I'm Associate Primitive Channel.
His name and the channel he works for have both been blurred out.
What's his name? Tell us his name!
For him to get in trouble for simply trying to help out.
How are we supposed to believe this?
Began by stating, as you may have
tell us his
suspected,
name.
it's not as streamlined as the video would suggest. It is a large operation, as you may suspect, with a large team of us behind it.
I paid a guy 10 grand and it took him 6 months to repaint my cabinets in my house.
Oh no!
You know, if I had him build a tiny jungle grotto for YouTube clickbait with blue water and slides and Minecraft beds, it'd take him years, I think. I have a lot of cabinets, Hannah. I have a lot of cabinets.
We attempted to figure out how many different people will work on the actual construction part of the project from start to finish, to which he would respond, it is depending on the scale of the project, but no less than 12 or more, before going on to explain that within his team, there is a director for the acting done. There is also a hired architect to obviously make sure the structure will not collapse and will last long enough to film in, and obviously afterwards many editors are involved.
What? There's an architect? They got a architect?
It's time to introduce a different channel called Photo Expression, who incredibly stumbled upon one of these primitive construction sites before capturing over 8 minutes of footage with a drone.
Ooh, mixing it up.
There's initially a clip where 8 different workers can be seen standing around a rectangular hole in the jungle, followed by another grainier clip from a far distance where somewhere between 7 and 10 people can be seen building.
That's Johnny Depp's new place. No, I guess that'd be Amber Heard's new place, right? Because she took the L. And yeah, they definitely meant an engineer, not an architect. Architects don't give a fuck if if something falls down. That's what engineers do. Yeah, X game, you're right.
It probably wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it should be noted that some of these videos specifically state in the description that I've been working hard with my 2 friends about 100 days to completely build, when in reality, it's a whole team working for only 3 to 10 days depending on the project, as mentioned in the email response from the cameraman. So if they're being untruthful about the time period as well as how many people are working on each project, what else are they lying about? Well, how about the incredible fire pits that they seem to create effortlessly?
See, this is what I mean.
They slap a couple of rocks together before beginning an explosive fire on large logs with no kindling whatsoever.
Cool. You guys never started a fire? It's really easy to start a fire. You just get wood and then you take a match and you throw the match on the wood and then it just blows up. It combusts instantaneously. And also, did they even say, like, did they say, this is real, we do this as just a team of 2 guys? Did they say that? Or is it just like for entertainment? Because it's like saying, you know, TV shows or movies are staged, right? That's all for entertainment, regardless. They piss accelerant. Got that Southeast Asian piss.
Then they're most certainly faking more complicated ones, which turns out to be true, as when looking at another video by Primitive Technology Idea, not only are these guys faking simple things such as fire, these guys are also faking the most labor-intensive exercise of all, the digging process itself. This video—
yeah, it looks like— oh my god. All right, I'm getting tired of supporting this guy. If he's gonna put ads on his videos, I'm getting tired of this.
This video with over 63 million views begins as most do. A shirtless guy draws a big circle and begins to dig it out. Only in the next frame, suddenly there's spray paint on the ground that they forgot to rub out. Additionally, on the wall of the hole, these long smooth cuts can be seen which are completely incomparable to the cuts being made by the stick. Well, there's a reason for this. Turns out spray paint marks weren't the only thing that they forgot to rub out, as in the minutes that follow, excavator tracks can be seen here, here,
oh my god, I've never even thought to look for stuff like that. I've never even thought to look for stuff like that. This is nothing like Minecraft, by the way. I thought this would be more like building and stuff. Minecraft really kind of lied about the way stuff works.
Be seen working very hard digging out a similar hole, which to their credit contains no excavator tracks around it. One mistake they did make, however, was that they forgot to take the actual excavator out of the top right-hand corner.
Alright, that's pretty funny. They literally just forgot there's an actual excavator up there. That's pretty cool. But at the end of the day, does it actually matter? Who cares, really? To me, they're still real. At this point, I don't give a they're still real. I'm still gonna watch them squeak around, slap their little tiny feet, dance side to side, use their blue water, dance around. I don't give a shit. I don't give a damn shit. If anything, good for them.
According to the email sent to us by the cameraman on one of these channels, approximately 70% of the digging is completed by machinery, whilst 30% is completed by hand, given how much of the work lies in simply digging. But men still do plenty of digging. As you may guess, in small underground spaces, it is impossible to fit a skid steer loader in the hole. Most of the actual construction is done by a hired team of specialized builders from my understanding, and they work with only intrinsic tools. The dirt is removed by skid steer loaders and offloaded elsewhere, and skid steer loaders are used in the initial boring process, whilst incrementally we film the builders doing superficial works on the hole.
He said hole.
Which is the exact same clip reused from the previous video. Now, why would they reuse the same?
Cool. I do like that. I also love just Southeast Asian content in general, which, by the way, is very stagey. Like a lot of it. All like the holes, they stick their fingers in it, and then a fish comes out, or they crack the egg and it goes in the hole, and then a fish goes. One of those fishes with the dick sucking lips, you know? What are they? The ones with the dainty holes on their face? It's carp. They're called carp. They got big lips. They got big, delicious lips. I caught a 36-pound carp when I was 9 years old, and I thought I caught a river monster, all right? I thought I was Jeremy Wade for minutes. I literally thought I was Jeremy Wade for minutes. And then I saw that thing surface.
It's because collecting concrete from a river is completely and utterly bogus. Concrete doesn't grow in a river, according to a civil engineer who had commented on one of these videos. Earth cement, this is incredibly fake. Cement requires a precise combination of different raw materials and then receives considerable heat treatment in order to make the powder we all know and love / hate. What's even funnier is that every single one of these channels has their own unique method for creating natural concrete. This channel's concrete is simply a mix of dirt and water.
I tell you what, if you put a third ingredient in there, you'll get a damn homunculus. I don't want to say what that ingredient is, but we all got it, if you know what I mean.
which is just dirt after the water dries. This other channel gets a little bit more creative with it by taking a chunk out of a termite nest, grinding it down into powder, mixing it with water, then concreting an entire pool with this small chunk of termite nest. Yet neither of these compare to the fakest channel of them all, Primitive Technology Life, which decides to just skip the concrete altogether and go with good old rocks and dirt. However, that's not the only suspicious thing about this shot. You'll notice when looking at the bamboo that each branch has a suspiciously clean cut on the end. Compare this to Primitive Technology, the legitimate channel from Australia, who in one video displays what
They're not actually saying that it's not staged though, right?
A river to the pool. Only there was no river. Photo Expression found the exact site of this pool, then stated in his video that in reality, the closest water source was more than 6 kilometers away. Instead, he found a bunch of blue plastic piping attached to a tap in the ground.
It's all fake. No. It is all fake. No. What about the mud baby? I like the idea of just going to Cambodia in the woods and you just, you know, my whole world crumbles. You go to this forest and then you just see there's video number 7 and there's just like a little resort and then there's another one over there. Like you fly over the forest and you just see, instead of jungle and like nature, you just see these little tiny YouTube videos where all these little videos were filmed. And you see the newest one and there's just equipment working on it and there's more than 2 people. Oh, and they're not just using sticks. They're using tools. No. My favorite Tfue is a liar.
The water for their channel just comes in cubic containers that is transported there. A very funny part is any scene where you see them sourcing water from some magnificent waterfall or lake, they're actually going somewhere perhaps hundreds of kilometers away and pretending to take it back. The video in which Photo Expression had stumbled upon various completed
that one looks like a shithole.
After these channels are finished building, the sites are simply left to rot. This video doesn't speak to every Southeast Asian primitive building channel, but in this particular case, rubbish was left everywhere, including, as you might guess, cement bags. The fact that the videos are fake isn't the most concerning. It's the destruction of the land that's concerning.
I'll rephrase what I just said. It's not exactly awesome, but what I just said was funny. No, it's funnier because that is true. Like you do walk through a forest in Cambodia and you'll just see, boom, boom, you know, mega long primitive resort leading into second primitive resort, blue water, crocodile, towel, fire, building. I'm trying to think of like stuff, you know.
This was public rainforest. You could probably consider this a pretty big deal, but according to the cameraman's email, at least on their channel, every build is done on privately owned land, which is leased for the purposes of the video. If this is the case, maybe Photo Expression is in the wrong for snooping around and filming on someone else's property. We're kidding, of course, but if the builds are being completed on privately owned land, it's a little narcissistic to comment on what they should and shouldn't do with it. Primitive Technology, the original legitimate Australian channel, put it best in his email to us when he said, "My advice to people who really want to know if the techniques on display are legitimate is to put them into practice and see. If you can follow the steps and get a similar result, then it's probably legit." He added that these corner cutting channels are motivated by money and status alone, rather than a true interest in primitive technology. But wanting to stay out of internet drama, we'll leave it up to the discerning viewer to decide what's real and what's not.
Primitive Technology just rightfully gate-kept the usage of primitive technology. Not something I would ever think I'd ever see in my entire life, but I like it. That was good. That was dopey schlopey.